All right, so I keep seeing this a lot online about the Chicago Bears being compared to the Detroit Lions of last season. Remember, they started off 1-6 last year, so obviously it took them a while to get going. And I'm seeing a lot of comparisons about the Bears, how a lot of optimistic Bears fans, or overly optimistic Bears fans, should I say, are saying to not worry too much because the Lions were in this position last year where they were 1-6 to start off and then ended up going on that crazy run and now are solidifying themselves this year as a playoff contender or a playoff team in general. But I'm here to tell you guys that those two situations are nothing alike. The 2023 Chicago Bears are nothing like the 2022 Lions, and I'm going to show you why. Now, I know what you might be saying. Yes, this is week 3. It's a little too early to start calling the season over, everything, and I get that. And I know we have 7 weeks of last year to look at for that 1-6 record of the Lions, but let's just take that away for a second. Let's look at the first 3 weeks of the Lions season last year and how it compares to the first 3 weeks of this season for the Bears. So as you can see here, the Eagles and Lions faced off week 1 of the 2022 season, in which the Eagles won by 3 points, 38-35. Guys, this team went to the Super Bowl last year. This team was the best defense last year. They went toe-to-toe with MVP Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and they only lost by 3. They put up 35 points on the Eagles' defense. Yes, they lost that game, but it isn't just about wins and losses here. You have to look at the full score here. You have to look at the context here. They lost 35-38. Had the Bears lost 35-38 against the Packers, we could at least say, hey, look, the offense is finally exploding. Justin Fields is looking to take that next step, that Jalen Hurts, that Tua Tagovailoa, that Josh Allen type year 3 leap, and it's finally happening, but our defense is still trash. That I can get around. If our quarterback is succeeding, I can get past that. Fine. 35-38, we lose against the Packers. Fine. Now, obviously, we never like to lose against the Packers, but I'd much rather have that than how we did week 1. The following week, the Lions faced the Commanders, who they beat 36-27. Once again, the Lions put up 35 plus points against a team, and yes, this team wasn't that great. This was, I believe, the Carson Wentz era for the Commanders, but even still, and by the way, I remember this game. This game was a shutout for a while. I think up until half. I think 27 points were most of those points were scored in garbage time. So the Lions really beat this team by a lot more. You take a look at the Bears in week 2. We lost 27-17. Our offense looked incompetent. Other than our first drive, our defense couldn't. I mean, they did hold for a little bit, but man, that game was just terrible. And then you look at the Lions here. Once again, their offense exploded. Had we seen this in week 2 of this year with Justin Fields beating the Buccaneers 36-27, we would be on the rise. We would be like, oh my gosh, look at Justin Fields. He's taking that big year 3 leap. We're finally excited for Bears football, and now we're beating a team that we should have beat. We should have beat the Bucs. Baker Mayfield should not have beat us. I don't care what anybody says. We should not have lost to the Bucs. And then the following week, week 3, they lose 24-28 against the Vikings. Once again, a one-score game, a very close game, 24-28. The offense didn't explode like they did the first 2 weeks, but they still put up points. Their defense once again is the problem. You can at least look at this, guys. You can see my point here, right? You look at last week too. With the Bears, week 3 for them versus week 3 for us, 41-10. You see what I'm talking about here, guys? I mean, look at this. 24 points compared to 10 points. I know the Vikings are not the Kansas City Chiefs. I get that. But the Vikings did very good last year, and, you can say whatever you want about them being frauds, which, I believe too, but either way, they still put up 24 points. They allowed 28 points. If this was the Chicago Bears, if we lost, let's just say we lost 24-28. Or let's just say we even lost. Let's just take the Commander score. Let's say we lost 27-36. We could at least say that Justin Fields is doing great. He's taking that next step. We can be excited because now all we need to do is fix one side of the ball. Point being, guys, is through the first 3 weeks of the Bears season, it's nothing like last year for the Lions. The Lions had hope. You could at least look at Jared Goff and saying, you know what? He's improving. He's getting comfortable in this offense. He's not Patrick Mahomes, but he's doing great. He's putting up 20 plus points in every game, 35, 36, and 24 in those 3 games. The defense is letting up a lot of points, sure, but look what they did now this season. This is what gave Lions fans hope last year. Through those first 3 weeks, if I'm a Bears fan or if I'm a fan of any team in general, and my team puts up, that many points with a young squad, with a young quarterback, I'm saying, hey, this year may not be our year. I'll accept that. This year may not be our year, but you know what? The following year and the following year after that, you can be excited for. Because the offseason's coming up. You know that you're going to add from the draft, from free agency, and you don't have as many pieces. And most importantly, the best part is that you don't have to figure out the most important position on the team, which is quarterback. You already know that your quarterback is doing good. He's succeeding and he's growing. He's getting comfortable in the system. His confidence is still there. He's saying, you know what? I'm doing my job. I can't control the defensive part, but I'm doing my job. And if Fields was taking that leap, if he was doing something similar to this, to where he was popping off like this, I wouldn't be too worried. I'm like, hey, you know what? Our defense is terrible, but we'll add next year. We'll add, or maybe even during the season. Who knows? Maybe somebody might request a trade. We'll trade for, I don't know, a Chase Young or something. Who knows? Right now, there's not anybody in this league that would turn this team around, other than Patrick Mahomes if we were to trade for him, which would cost like 10 first-round picks. But that's not even within the realm of possibility. But even then, if we traded for any non-QB position, it wouldn't even turn this team around. Our coaching is incompetent. Our entire team in general is just incompetent. Just everything about the Bears is just utter trash. Oh, and by the way, if we want to look at more games past that 3 weeks, I'll show you right now. 48-45 Seahawks. Lions and Seahawks. They lost that game, but once again, 45 points. Imagine Justin Fields putting up 45 points. Yes, it'd be upsetting to see our defense letting up 48 points, but just like last year when there was a month that Justin Fields was putting up 30 points a game and our defense was letting up like 35, 40 points a game, it was still exciting to know that our quarterback was the right thing on our team. Our defense we can handle being bad. We'll just fix that later. But our quarterback being good, that's the one thing we never had. And now you look at the next game, obviously they lost 0-29. Then they lost 6-24. You start thinking what's going on. But then they bounced back. 27-31 they lost, but they're still putting up points. Then they beat the Packers. Then they beat us 31 points to 30. 31 points again to the Giants, who were a playoff team that year. They barely lost to the Bills, who were a really good team last year up until playoff time. Lost by 3 points. Destroyed the Jags, who were a playoff team last year, who won a playoff game last year. Beat the Vikings, who were a 13-4 team last year, or 14-3. I don't remember which one, but they beat them 34-23. Beat the Jets. Beat the they lost to the Panthers. That was just one, weird loss there. Destroyed us 41-10, and then beat the Packers and sent Aaron Rodgers out of Green Bay. Imagine a season like that. And this is what I was expecting and I was hoping as a Bears fan that the Bears would be this year. If we were the 2022 Lions this year, I would be so happy. I would be so happy in the fact knowing that our future is very bright. I get why Lions were happy about their record last year. Even though they didn't make the playoffs, they at least had high hopes for the next season because they knew that the offense was finally figured out. All they needed to do was add to the defense, and the defense got better as the year progressed. Aiden Hutchinson, second overall pick, turned into a stud. You added guys now like Brian Branch. You added Cam Sutton, I believe. You have James Houston. They could have had Jalen Carter, but they opted to take Jahmyr Gibbs, who's still a very good running back, by the way. But point being is we are not the 2022 Lions. This team is headed nowhere but probably 0 wins. Maybe 1 or 2 wins here and there. We're headed towards the number 1 overall pick, in which we will most likely draft Caleb Williams. And I pray it doesn't happen, but we'll probably ruin him too, because that's what this organization does. Unfortunate. Let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know if you think that we are in any way similar to last year's Lions, if we gotten worse, or what are your score predictions your record predictions, should I say, for the rest of the season? Do you think the Bears are going to win any games this year? Let me know. I'm out.